Framber should be an all-star. Hunter Brown should be an all-star. Pena should be an all-star. Hader should be an all-star. And Abreu should be an all-star. All 5 of those guys should be all-stars this year. And they won't get 5. Our Astros win another series. Take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. The only hiccup was Lance McCullers on Saturday. But Cam Smith was a hero playing against his former team. Well, kind of his former team, former organization for the first time. You traded me, watch this. Boom! Boom! 7-4 Astros win. He homers. Then Lance McCullers on Saturday. And then Jose Altuve yesterday. 2 outs, 1 on. And Jose Altuve homers, and that's the only runs in the game. Brian Abreu came in a two-on, nobody-out situation in the 7th and put out the fire with a pop-up and a couple of strikeouts, and then got the next inning as well. And then Hader just looks fantastic. The Astros have – listen, Abreu should be an all-star too, although he's not going to be, more than likely. But Hader's got to be an all-star. Hunter Brown's got to be an all-star. And Framber's got to be an all-star. Framber has a 2.74, but Framber isn't fantastic. Sometimes he strikes guys out, sometimes he doesn't. But he doesn't have the incredible numbers that a lot of guys do. But Framber's just Framber. Day in, day out, start in, start out. He is just fantastic.
Pay that man. Get your shirts, put it on the back of your cleats like Dante
again?
Robinson.
You just did this. Can you just not do this again? Good Lord, t-shirt. Enjoy the season.
Pay that man.
Goodness gracious, stop already.
What?
You did it for 20 minutes last week. Stop.
What? We can't get guys paid?
Yeah, you don't do it right now. Stop already.
If you don't do it now, when do you do it?
You don't do it. They don't do it. They would love to pay Framber right now. Guess what he ain't doing? He ain't doing it.
No,
he's going to go to free agency.
I'm going to keep pushing him to do something new, which is get your pitchers back. Bring your best players back.
Yeah. Well, guess what? I would love
that
to see
dude. All
Framber
he does is ball. You want to go look at Framber's last 80 starts and see how good they are?
Yeah.
He's up there with the best in baseball.
Are you trying to argue that they should re-sign Framber? Is that what you're trying to argue?
He needs to have more. Sometimes I feel like he doesn't get the proper amount of respect he deserves in the city.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's just focus on an all-star appearance right now, and the contract stuff. We'll see. We'll see whether or not it works itself out. That they don't want to sign Framber is silly. Of course, they want to sign Framber. But whether or not they're going to go, and, we'll see. Is it going to be – maybe it's Hunter Brown that's going to be the guy that they sign to
that's fine
the
too.
Big long-term deal.
Or both would be cool.
That would be great. That would be great
awesome.
if they did that. So anyway, boy, you know what? You should have Pena as an all-star. You are the third best team in baseball, and yet I don't know that you're going to get anywhere near the respect that you should for it. How many Dodgers are going to be all-stars? How many? I don't know about Tigers. I'm not sure how many Tigers are going to be all-stars. But Yankees. How many Yankees are going to be all-stars? We see it every year. Framber should be an all-star. Hunter Brown should be an all-star. Pena should be an all-star. Hader should be an all-star. And Abreu should be an all-star. All 5 of those guys should be all-stars this year. And they won't get 5. Even though some teams, when they're the best in the league, and the Astros are right there with the best in the league, they get 6, 7 guys on the All-Star team. We'll see what the
a lot of times in the past, Astros didn't go after the the trash can thing and all the other players in the league trying to come down on them. They were like, bleep you, we're not going. But these are guys who would go. Hunter Brown would go. He's never made an all-star appearance. Jeremy Pena's never made one. Brian Abreu's never made one. Hader's made one. But I also think maybe some of that stuff is – I don't think Jose Altuve will ever go to an all-star game again. Whether he's elected or appointed, I don't think he'll ever go play. I think he wants to hang out with his kids and just – I don't think he'll go. He's done it already.
He's the guy who refused for no reason. He just said, I don't need that anymore. And you know what? He doesn't. He doesn't need that anymore. That's a Hall of Famer right there. And he came through, which was really nice. Really, really, really nice. 713-780-3776. The other big story was Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith signs 5-year, $122 million extension. Here are some interesting numbers, and see what you think of this. Jabari, these are stats per 75 possessions, with Jalen on the floor and without Jalen on the floor. Jabari had 13.5 points with Jalen, 18.4 without him. Rebounds were about the same, assists about the same.
How many minutes per game did he play without Jalen?
True shooting, he was 10% higher. He was higher three-point percentage, 8% higher. He was just better with Jalen not on the floor.
I wonder how much of that is when Jalen Green missed time this year with an injury. How much time did Jalen miss?
0.
Oh no, I'm just thinking of what's his name's injury. Yeah, he played 82 games. What am I talking about? Was it last year? I'm thinking of, yeah, you're right. So this is all Jalen. So this is not additional minutes really for him.
No.
Maybe it's when Amen Thompson missed time. Maybe he played more when Amen Thompson missed some time and his numbers were better. But that still doesn't account for Jalen Green being on.
Let's not forget Jabari was the second teamer, so there was time that he wasn't on the floor with Jalen.
Okay, so when Jalen's on, yeah, so we knew as a second teamer he actually played better. Yeah. He actually looked more comfortable, and maybe that's part of it is not having Jalen in there. You know, when you're in and you're the third or fourth, really honestly the fourth option, I guess maybe. You're whatever
maybe you're
option.
more involved.
Yeah, more involved with the offense. Maybe more aggressive. I think it gets to his mindset. He has a more aggressive mindset like he was at Mississippi State. You know, I've made this comparison before, and I'm going to tell you why. So the Robert Horry comparison that I make is because I think their temperament is similar. I think they both, and I've had some pushback from a good friend of mine, but I think it's a pretty good comparison because Robert was a guy who could sit outside and shoot from three. He developed that. He could block some shots from the post. He could guard. Remember, he famously guarded Barkley and gave him some issues in the postseason that year. The Rockets came back from the 3-1 deficit and ended up winning the championship. He could play three. He could play stretch four. Jabari can do both things as well. The difference is Robert Horry, the most points he ever scored in his entire – what do you think his highest average points per game was for his career?
Robert Horry?
Yeah, just have you guess it.
Most points per game.
In a single season. His career spanned, 16 years?
I'm going to say – I don't think he ever averaged double digits.
Yeah, he did. He
did?
Oh, 8 points. I mean, we wouldn't even –
12? 12. What was his highest?
Flat 12. With the Rockets, he averaged 10.1, 9.9, 10.2, 12, and then he got traded. And after that, he never scored more than 9.2 points per game. Robert Horry was not a good Robert Horry is one of the weirdest players in the history of the game because he was one of the most clutch. Like, you hated seeing Robert Horry. He was a bad free throw shooter, relatively speaking. He shot 72% for his career. From three, he was a 34% free throw three-point shooter. That's not great. That's okay. From the field, he shot 42% from the field. Robert Horry was a bad shooter across the board. And yet, I don't know that there's a more clutch player than Big Shot Bob. He has more iconic clutch shots in the postseason and a ton of rings. And when you look at his stats, you would say, Robert Horry stunk. How is Robert Horry being talked about? But he gets this love. You know why? And this always proves, what do you do in the postseason? Well, you win in the postseason, you come up with clutch plays, people will have love for you forever. If you're Jalen Green and you have explosive plays and fun plays and you have good regular seasons and then you trick out in the postseason, that's what's always remembered. For as much as I love Bagwell and Biggio, I will never be able to get away from their postseason failures. Never. It's just part of my memory of who they are, and your memory, John, and everyone's who watched it. As much as Yuli was terrible that last year in 2022, all you can think of is Yuli stepped up in the postseason and helped this team win a championship. He did. I don't even 2022. Who cares if Yuli played bad? That guy was a great Astro. He was a clutch. He was the best bases loaded Astro I've ever seen in my life during his career. Yuli's bases loaded numbers are insane. He was so good. I love clutch players, and Robert Horry is a clutch player, and that's why Jabari Smith to me could end up being a much more impactful player than Robert Horry ever was. But he's got that ability, I think, to really stand out with hitting clutch plays. I've seen him make game win. We've seen him make game winners for the Rockets. He has something in there. His DNA, he's got a little something in that DNA that I think is real positive. That's why I'm so excited about this signing, is because it's 5 years. It's fully guaranteed, which not all of them are. You think they're all fully guaranteed, but they're not. Not all contracts are. But I think his agent understood, look, this is who he is. Let's strike right now. If I do this deal right now, I get my guaranteed I get my salary out of this thing. It's guaranteed. Let's not play games with this. Let's just go get a good relative market value contract. And for the Rockets, he's a great guy to have on that team, a great culture player, a team first player, a guy who was raised up right. His dad did a great job with raising him to, to play the game the right way, I think. There's no question Ime loves him. No question.
Yep. No, that's a really good signing. You got that done early. Listen, this organization is taking care of its own and going out and getting. It's different than baseball. Although you can't listen. Jim Crane has gone out and spent money. They've gone out and they got Josh Hader. They went and got Verlander. I mean, they've gotten. There's no question. They are spending money. It's on their own that they let go. They're not going to give the long-term, big money contracts to guys just because they did it for them, and they continue to win. It's two different approaches. Although I don't know. Jordan, they did just like a Jabari deal. They did a Jordan deal. They did an Altuve deal. They did a Bregman deal, just like they did a Jabari deal here.
Yeah.
He didn't get Jabari could have gone to free agency.
Well, thank God Jordan did an early deal.
Pardon me?
Thank God Jordan did an early deal.
Yeah, right. And some guys won't do early deals, Framber, I don't know that they wanted to do a Framber early because Framber is a little bit older, let's not forget. And Framber is just, like you said, Framber started an All-Star game.
Framber doesn't live off power, though. Those pitchers pitch
That's
forever.
it. It's the power thing. They don't respect Framber like they respect guys that strike guys out.
Who is they?
Don't.
You shouldn't say that about the Astros. I don't know that that's true. Framber's numbers across the board are phenomenal. And the reason I would tell you a guy who's not a power guy is more likely to pitch a long time at an effective rate. We've seen that historically. Guys who are able to live off of curveballs and get people to hit pitches they don't like to hit, that's Framber's value. And he's still actually, his strikeout per nine is actually good. I mean, it's still good.
It's
and he
good.
Gets it up to, and he can throw up to 96 miles an hour.
But it's the guys who strike the guys out.
That's great.
Overpowering.
Go ahead and get y'all's UCL. Go ahead and get your Tommy Johns ready. Get you a couple Tommy Johns in there. Pay for seasons where they don't pitch. I'll just have Framber who never gets hurt and who always pitches good. I like pitchers who pitch.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't. Maybe you guys didn't hear. Some pitchers for the Astros don't pitch because they're hurt. I like guys who always pitch.
And Framber's there.
And win. He's winning at a 65% clip since 2021. He's 64-34 with an ERA under 3. I mean, that's great. And if the Astros won't sign him, then somebody else needs to sign him to a 5-year deal at about $31 million a year, and Framber will end up being a 1 or a 2 on that team and going into the playoffs. And, I mean, we already know what's going to happen, so it just depends on the team. And it's not going to be a slappy team that goes after him. It's going to be a good team or a team on the verge, or it'll be A.J. What it will be is A.J. Hinch will go out and get Framber. Although Hinch was gone when Framber started becoming a really good player, actually.
Yeah.
Because Framber took off in 21. He took off in the bubble of COVID, but, I mean, A.J. was not there for that, right? No, A.J. wasn't there.
No, A.J. was
so
gone.
So A.J.'s been gone,
19, yep, after 19. Yep.
So maybe he doesn't know this Framber. He just knows, oh, the Framber guy, he stunk whenever he came up and had a couple. Yeah, keep thinking that, A.J.
Well, I mean, AJ might know him since.
Can the Dodgers sign him and maybe pay him all of the money
Hopefully.
in about 40 years and give him
Hopefully.
maybe give him $80,000 this year and then pay him everything when he's 67, like they're doing, like that stupid loophole that they take advantage of? Close the loophole.
Let the Dodgers do
Cheating
be
tax
the
code.
Dodgers, okay. Now you're on the Dodgers? Now
No,
you're on-
I'm off the. I'm saying Dodgers are a bunch of. I don't
I
know.
wish the
Close
Astros
the-
would do that.
close-
Listen, Jim Crane, you're not going to own the team in 10 years.
Yeah,
Sign
put that-
Framber to a deal where he
Exactly.
gets the majority of the deal
Exactly.
in 10 years.
Exactly.
Do it like, why not, Jim? Jim, you're not going to own him in 10 years.
Now, I will say it'll make it a whole lot harder to sell when you've got that kind of balance sheet when you're carrying debt moving
but
forward. That's always
think-
a bad sign for
Okay,
trying to sell something.
You see what the Lakers went for, $10 billion? You think the Dodgers won't sell just because?
Yeah, that's LA.
Just because of that deal,
that's
that
LA.
Shohei deal?
That's LA.
No, that is different. It is different.